All right, so today we're going to be finding the volume of a sphere and the volume of a hemisphere. So I am in your book on page 608. I'm going to do this whole page with you, and then you'll have some more problems that you'll do later on your own. So on page 608, number 1, we're finding that volume of the sphere. To find the volume of the sphere, we use the formula. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Volume equals 4/3 times pi r cubed. So that's going to be, it's very similar to what we've seen for cylinder and what we've seen for cone. It's just a little different because we use 4/3 and we have radius cubed instead of squared. So on number 1, I'm going to do 4/3 times 3.14 times my radius, which they give me is 10, and that's going to be cubed. So I would do my exponents first, so I do 10 cubed, which is 1,000, times 3.14 times 4/3. I'm just going to type that into my calculator all at once. If you don't have a calculator to do 4/3, it doesn't have a fraction, what you can do is you can take 4 times 3.14 times 1,000, and then at the very last step you divide it by 3. That's the same thing as typing it all in the calculator like you see on the board. Either way, you should get the answer of 4,186 and 6 repeating. It says to round it to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to say that this 6 tells the other 6 to go up. So my final answer is 4,186 and 7/10 feet cubed, because I'm talking about volume. All right, next one. I have 4/3 times 3.14 times my radius is 6 5/10 cubed. So I take 6 5/10 cubed, and I get 274 and 625 thousandths times 3.14 times 4/3. Again, if your calculator doesn't do fractions, what you can do is you can take 4 times 3.14 times 274 and 65 hundredths, and then the last step, divide it by 3. It will give you the same answer as typing it in as you see on the board. You will get 1,149 and 700 or 0.763333, and it goes on forever. Since I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, this 6 tells my 7 to go up. So my final answer will be 1,149 and 8/10 kilometers cubed. All right, number 3 is a little bit different. We're going to have to do a little more work to it, but that's okay. Sarah is blowing up a spherical balloon for her brother's birthday party. One of the balloons has a radius of 3 inches, so we're going to need that. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. What's the volume of our balloon? So it's going to be a spherical or a perfect circle balloon. So we're going to use 4/3 times 3.14 times my radius, which we found was 3. We're going to cube that. I do my exponents first. So 3 cubed is 27 times 3.14 times 4/3. Again, if your calculator doesn't do fractions, you can take 4 times 3.14 times 27 and then divide by 3. It will give you the same answer. I got an answer of 113 and 4/100. So to round to the nearest tenth, so my 4 tells my 0 to stay the same. So the volume of my balloon is 113 inches cubed. Okay, for B, suppose Sarah can inflate the balloon at a rate of 200 cubic inches per minute. How long will it take for her to inflate the balloon? So, we're going to set up a rate and then solve it using the butterfly method that we've done in the past. So, to do that, it says she can inflate the balloon at a rate of 200 cubic inches per minute. So 200, I'm going to change the color. So it's 200 cubic inches, so inches cubed, per 1 minute. So there's the first rate, and that was given to me in the problem. And we're going to set that equal to, we found that our volume is 113 inches cubed, and we don't know how long that it's going to take, so x minutes. So if you have inches on top, you have to have inches on top. If you have minutes on bottom, minutes have to be bottom on your second rate. So just always double check when you're setting up proportions that your labels on top match each other and your labels on bottom match each other as well. So now we're going to use our butterfly method. So I'm going to take 1 times 113, which would give me 113, equals 200 times x, which is just 200x. My numbers are on opposite sides of the equation, so I'm going to solve with the opposite operation. So I'm going to divide by the number with the variable, which is 200. So now I have x equals, I take 113 divided by 200, and I get 565 thousandths, but I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth because that's what the directions say. So this 6 tells my 5 to go up. So it's going to take about 6/10 of a minute. So again, that one was a little harder because you had to set up rates, but after you get your proportions set up equal to each other, you should be good to go with the butterfly method. All right, so I have 2 more problems for you. And they're finding the volume of a hemisphere. So a hemisphere is what it looks like. It is half of a sphere. So to find the volume of a hemisphere, we're just going to find the volume of a regular sphere and then cut it in half or divide by 2. So my volume of a sphere again is 4/3 times pi r cubed. So at number 4, I'm given the entire length of the circle, which is my diameter. So if my diameter is 16, my radius is half of that. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So now I have 4/3 times 3.14 times 8 cubed. Order of operations, I do 8 cubed first, which gives me 512 times 3.14 times 4/3. 4 times 3.14 times 512 divided by 3. I got to be 2,143.57. So the 7 tells the 5 to go up, so it's going to be 0.6. I round it to the nearest tenth in that step as well. So that would be the volume of an entire sphere with that radius, but I only have half of that. So to find the volume of just half of the sphere, I would take it and divide by 2. And I get the answer of 1,076 71.8 inches cubed. So that is how you find the volume of a hemisphere. All right, number 5. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to use the same formula. 4/3 times 3.14 times my radius. I'm given the entire length of the circle, so that's my diameter. So the diameter is 15, so the radius is going to be half of that, or divide it by 2, which is 7 5/10. So 7 5/10 cubed. I do order of operations. I do 7 5/10 cubed first. And I get 421 875 thousandths. So I'm going to write it the way that I've been typing it in my calculator. This means the same thing as what you have above, but this is how I'm typing it in my calculator. I'm taking 4 times 3.14 times 421 875 thousandths, and then I'm dividing it by 3, and I get 1,766.25. That would be the volume of an entire sphere, but I have hemisphere, so I'm going to divide it by 2, and I get 883 125 thousandths. I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. So this 2 tells my 1 to stay the same, so my final answer is going to be 883 1/10 millimeters cubed. All right, I know this is kind of a longer video, but you got your entire assignment done for the day as long as you wrote down all of the work. If you did not write down all of the work, you need to go back and do that. Otherwise, you will not get full credit for the assignment.